Hello again. We are Chris Lee and Chase Robinson of Southeastern 16 here to preview Texas's road trip to Nashville in a series that Vanderbilt has historically dominated. Although they hadn't played in about 100 years, that might be relevant here. But anyway, Chase, I'm looking forward to it, all kidding aside. I'll be in the press box for that one in Nashville. Can't wait to see how Vanderbilt, which has not been ranked since 2008 in the regular season, matches up with a Texas team that is coming off a bitterly disappointing loss against Georgia, but certainly not one disqualifying for playoff hopes by any means of the imagination.
Yeah, Texas dropped it at home to Georgia, which, I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen the way that Texas has been playing. But, that brings up, is Texas, because at one point I felt like we would have said, they could go undefeated. Well, obviously they're not now. They've dropped one. So how do they respond? What do they do moving forward? We'll find out against a team who's sneaky good. They're Vanderbilt's ranked now. Like, we've seen them beat Alabama. We've seen them play really good with some other teams. So, this is not the Vanderbilt team of old. They do some really good things, and so should be an interesting game at least in Nashville on Saturday.
Well, we always give you the stats for both sides of the ball. And spoiler alert, for Vanderbilt's offense, we're not going to go there first. It won't matter as much. And even for the defense to some degree, it's an interesting defense. But Texas's offense last week really struggled to run the ball against Georgia. You had a quarterback rotation where neither guy between Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning could really get it going, but still a very, very good and talented offense. Texas averages 39.1 points per game on 70 snaps, a 1.2% turnover rate. The Longhorns throw it 52% of the time, 7.8 yards per passing play, 5.3 per rushing play, and they get sacked 5.1% of the time. Average per play, 6.6 yards. Vanderbilt's defense is allowing 22.1 points a game on just 59 snaps. Vanderbilt does a really good job keeping its defense off the field. Turnover rate, 1.5%. Teams will throw it 54% of the time against the Commodores, who allow 6.4 yards per pass play, a 6.3% sack rate, and 4.7 yards per rushing play allowed for a total of 5.6 yards per snap. Texas had trouble running the ball last week, but this is a team that I think could have trouble with the power running game. And certainly the Longhorns got a lot of weapons in that passing game. Gunnar Helm, tight end, they got a lot of guys that are nightmares to cover, but he's really one because of the size and his ability to run after the catch. I think this is a Longhorn offense that can prove to be problematic for Vanderbilt, although watch out for this Langston Patterson, their best linebacker, hadn't played in a few weeks. I think he'll be back. And also Miles Capers, one of their better edge guys, also hadn't played the last game and a half. I think he might be back too. So I still think Texas has the edge, but a little bit of availability on Vandy's side, Chase, that could make a bit of a difference here.
Yeah, only 29 yards rushing for Texas on Saturday against Georgia. That's not something that's going to stay. They're too good of a rushing team for that to happen. So, I expect Wisner and Blue and these other guys to step up and run the ball well for Texas. And we saw Arch Manning come in a little bit against Georgia as well. But, it just wasn't a good night for Texas against Georgia. Does that show what kind of team they are? I don't think so. I think this is a really good team. I think this is a national championship type team that Texas has. They were just playing a really good team in Georgia. So, yeah, I feel like this offense going up against Vanderbilt, yes, while Vanderbilt can do some really good things defensively and slow people down, it's just I feel like there's so much depth for Texas, especially offensively. I think their offensive line is doing well also. I feel like they're going to be hard to stop. One, they're going to be playing mad, I feel like, after the Georgia game. But two, there's just so much depth.
Before we get into Texas's defense against Vandy's offense, which I think is a fascinating matchup, tell folks a little bit about our sponsor, Chase.
Yeah, BetOnline sponsors our content. They're the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. They've got every stat, matchup breakdown, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. They've got the largest category of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, you can go to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker or one of the over 150 slots games. Head over to their website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet online, the game starts here.
All right, let's start with Vanderbilt's offense against Texas's defense. Texas's defense, statistically, I think the best in the league so far. Now, some of that maybe has been helped by schedule. It's been easier than most teams, but still an elite unit. Texas giving up 9.7 points a game on 63 snaps. It forces turnovers 2.3% of the time. Teams throw it 51% of the time against the Longhorns, just 3.6 yards per passing play. That is incredible. Sack rate of nearly 9%, 3.9 yards per rushing play, 3.7 per snap. Vanderbilt's offense, and you kind of got to throw some of these numbers out, because if you have not seen this team, it is the closest thing to a triple option team that you will see in the SEC. The name of the game for Vanderbilt is hold on to the ball. It scores 33.1 points per game on 63 snaps, a 0.2% turnover rate. Vanderbilt's lost one fumble and one interception through 7 games. I don't know if they can keep that up, but that is amazing. The Commodores run it 62% of the time. You will see them use all kinds of formations, sometimes 3 running backs in addition to a quarterback in the backfield. They'll do all kinds of stuff. They'll use end arounds. They get 4.5 yards per rushing play, 7.9 yards per passing play. That ranks Vanderbilt tied for 4th in the league in yardage per passing play. Commodores sacked nearly 7% of the time on passing plays, average 5.8 yards per play period. But I think the key stat for Vandy, Chase, 51.2% of third down conversions against FBS teams. Among just games, FBS on FBS, that ranks 5th in the country.
Yeah, they get the football, they hold on to the football, and they can make the plays to convert the third downs. Like, credit Vanderbilt and their game plan. I think it's what you have to do to win games, especially what they can do offensively with, like you said, their scheme where it's almost a triple option type deal there. And Diego Pavia has just been a game changer this year and has led the team so well. I mean, he's thrown for 1,391 yards, 11 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And he's carried the ball 118 times for 470 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Diego Pavia runs this offense. He runs it well. I think the staff does a great job of putting game plans together to set him up to be successful. I mean, he has had a storybook career and a storybook season so far for Vanderbilt. And I don't think it's over yet. Like, he does really good things. And, and I think he'll do some good things against Texas. Yes, their defense is tremendous, but Diego Pavia is just one of those guys where he finds ways to make plays, and I think he'll be able to do that some against Texas as well.
Yeah, Texas has got a couple of All-American level guys in the secondary too. I think Andrew Makuba got banged up in the Georgia game. Don't know where that stands as we're doing this Monday morning. But Malik Muhammad. They just got some really good guys back there. Vanderbilt's skill guys are not great. They're not awful either. The guy to watch there, Eli Stowers, their tight end, who's been really, really good, and Diego Pavia's favorite guy. But you don't ever know what's coming with these guys, and it's not an offense that you can really – I don't know how you get ready for it in 1 week, but that's Texas's task. Let's get into picks and wine. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas. I mean, can Vanderbilt make this a close game at times? Yes, they absolutely can. I think Texas just has too much firepower. I think their defense is really good, and it seems like and again Texas did not play great against Georgia. They had some missed assignments, but overall, I think the defense plays really good assignment football, which is what you need to face this offense of Vanderbilt. So I think they are able to make the stops they need. Again, I don't think it's going to be, I think 18.5 is large. I don't think it'll be that, but I do think Texas wins this game in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think Texas has got too much talent at the skill positions and on the line of scrimmage for Vanderbilt to handle. I think this would be the best team that Vanderbilt has played. But look, watch that Alabama game. You see how these guys keep it so close and pull some upsets. They don't turn it over. They stay on the field. They're smart. The penalty numbers on the year aren't great, but I feel like as the season's gone on, those numbers have declined a little bit. Let me just give you some outcomes here. Vanderbilt has played 6 games against FBS teams. 5 of them have really come down to one possession games decided in the last minute. Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt won that one in overtime. It lost to Missouri in double overtime. It beat Alabama in regulation by 6, beat Kentucky in regulation by 7. Had a kind of an off day against Ball State, won that one by 10. And in the middle of that, showed you how bad it can be at times when it lost at Georgia State. But I think with Vanderbilt, you kind of throw out the stats. 18.5 feels like a lot based on the season they've had. I think I could easily see this game being a game of the fourth quarter, but I think ultimately Texas's talent will be too much. We'll be here to talk about it afterwards. Best way to get that, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We cover baseball, football, basketball year-round, and you can reach out to advertise with us. We do reach millions a year at caroline.smith@southeastern14.com. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.